What's up, everyone? So, Cyberpunk third person mod version 4 has released, and there is a lot more scripting in the initialization file that has added a lot of functionality to it. So, it's much better than it was on version 3. And there's a quick guide here if you've already got the mod installed from my previous videos or, from anywhere. It tells you how to install it. So, basically, you have to copy from the download file, you want to get the CyberEngine tweaks folder and paste it into the same directory, like into this same directory, Cyberpunk bin x64 plugins, and there'll be another CyberEngine tweaks folder without these underscores, and you just delete that other folder that's got the older initialization file. So that's basically how you do it if you've already got the mod, but you also have to make sure you update your CyberEngine tweaks to version 1.8.3, which also released at the same time as this mod. And you can see the functionality they've added. Basically, they've separated the camera modes. So you know how B would cycle through 4 different modes. Now you don't. You just get your one third-person mode, and you use F1 to change the different viewing angles. So basically hitting B will bring you back to whatever viewing angle you prefer instead of having to cycle through them all the time, which is really awesome. And you can zoom in and out, which is cool, but they haven't kept the zoom functionality. So they've limited the zoom in, so you can't zoom in like into your character's model. But if you zoom out, it'll just let you keep going and eventually break your game. Like you'll end up with loading screens trying to go back to first person. So don't abuse that too much. I'm just making you aware you can zoom out too far that your character even gets stuck in the ground because the movement controls will get detached from the character itself. So anyway, you can see the fixes they've done. They fixed the disappearing head issue, and I'm just going to show everyone how to install it especially for the new people that haven't heard of this mod and they've just seen it like popping up on websites. I'm just going to show you how to install it from scratch, and yeah, just to help you out. So basically, you want to go to Google and type. I prefer to download it from GitHub because the download is easier to access, but you can also get it from Nexus Mods. So just type CyberEngine GitHub or Nexus Mods. As you can see here, there's CyberEngine tweaks down here on the lower result. But it's the same thing. And on the right-hand side here, there's releases. Click that. And you can see the latest release, which was just today, 10 hours ago, 1.8.3.zip. So download that into a folder that you can find on your PC. So we've saved that there. And as well, if you don't have WinRAR and you've just been using the default unpacking program that comes with Windows 10, you actually need like WinRAR or an unpacking program to unpack the third-person mod. And I'll recommend 7-zip. So just go to Google, type 7-zip, download, and you can see the top result here. Either of these is fine, or the MSI installer. It's the same thing. And just install that, and it'll give you unpacking functionality. So when you right-click like a .rar file, you can unpack it, because that's what you need to be able to do. So anyway, so we've downloaded CyberEngine, and then we're going to download this version 4 of the third-person mod. And again, just search TPP Mod, JB TPP Mod, or CyberEngine Cyberpunk TPP Mod. It should come up as a top result in Google. You can see it is the top result. And just click that and go to Files. And here it's got male and female. It's just to do with the neck thickness. It doesn't actually matter. You can go with either one and it'll work with both genders. So it's just a preference. I prefer the thinner neck. And yeah, manual download is, we're going to do the manual install, not using the Vortex. I find it confusing, the newer UI. I'm used to the old UI, so I prefer manual install. And yeah, just manual download, either one, just your preference, and make sure it's version 4. So we're going to manual download this, and it'll come up with you need CyberEngine tweaks. We're installing that alongside it, so don't worry about that. And just hit download and slow download, unless you're on premium. So the main reason I'm redoing this as well is because just to make sure that anyone that's getting stuck can really have a close look at the folder names that I'm using. This part's not important. You can save it to your downloads folder, save it to anywhere you want, as long as you can find these two files that we've downloaded here at the bottom. As you can see in my browser, I've got the CET, which is CyberEngine, and the female JB third person mod. So click any of those. Your browser should have like a show in folder, or just go into file manager and find wherever you've saved it. And as you can see, there's this file here and this JB third person mod, which the extension should be a .rar extension, but you can only see the extensions if you've got this checked at the top of your file explorer. So if you hit view, you can click show file name extensions, and if you don't have that checked, it'll just look like this, which is fine. Don't worry about that. I'm just teaching you something. And so first we want to unpack the Cyber engine. So 7-zip and extract it to CET, like the default folder path it wants to make. Like it wants to make its own folder. Just go to extract to. So if you're using WinRAR, I'm sure you should be familiar with it. Just extract it to its own folder. You can extract here, but then it'll put all the files alongside anything else you've got in the folder, which is messy, and preferably you don't want that. So we're going to extract it to the same, so CET 1.8.3, and then you can delete that. You don't need that zip file anymore. And so now we've got that, and what we want to do is, the easy way I found to do it is, you can do this either way. You can put Cyber Engine into the game folder first and then put the mod in, or you can just integrate the mod with the Cyber Engine and then copy it all over together, which is what I prefer. But I'll show you the correct file paths so that you know that everything's in the right place. You can double check it afterwards if it's not working for some reason. So we're just going to move this .rar into the CET folder. So I've just dragged it over, and then go into it. And you can see here, these are the Cyber Engine files, and then we've got this .rar file that's the third-person mod that we've dragged over. And you just want to right-click it, extracting, and extract here, not to extract to or extract files, which will give you, basically that'll try to tell you it'll put its own file path in, which will give you a new folder. You don't want that. You want to extract here into the same location. So that way the files inside will not make their own folder path. They'll just go into whatever path they were designed to go into. So basically there's a plugins folder with a path and the mod files in it. So extract here, and as you can see, it come up with a README. That's not important. You can actually delete that README, and you can delete the RAR file. So now we've got the Cyber Engine files and the plugin path, which is for Cyber Engine. And if you go into cyber_engine_tweaks, there's a mods folder, and inside that mods folder, the JB third person mod that we just extracted should be in the right directory, like by default. And this is the same path as it'll be inside your Cyberpunk folder. We're just going to copy that over now. We're going to copy all these files into the right place. So these are the Cyber Engine files. Right-click them, or select them, right-click and go to cut. And then hopefully you know where to find your Cyberpunk install directory. I've got it pinned, but I'll go manually hunting for it. So if you've got it on Steam, it'll be like Program Files x86, Steam Apps, Common, and it should be in here. I've got my Steam library spread across 3 different drives, so I have to go into Steam library over here in my G drive. But it's the same thing. You should be able to just find your Cyberpunk 2077 folder, and if you can find it, you'll know where, it's the same path from that point. So for GOG, I think you might have to look for your GOG folder. So find your Cyberpunk folder, go to binx64, and as you can see here, I've actually got the modded files inside this folder already. The global license version.dll. These are what you would delete if you're uninstalling the mod and uninstalling Cyber Engine. So if you just want to get rid of it and have your game back to normal, you just got to delete these 3 files and the plugins folder. That's all you got to do. You just reverse the process basically. But for the purpose of this, we're going to just paste those files over the top and erase it all. So replace all files in the destination, just to show you that these are the files that are what the mod uses. And then the path should look like this inside your plugins folder. So this is the Cyber Engine plugins mod folder. And then you've got Cyber Engine tweaks, mods, and that's where your third person mod should be, and there should be an init file inside that. That's all you need to worry about. Don't worry about anything else, because the init file will basically create anything else it needs. So that's all done. And yeah, when you start up Cyberpunk, it should work. I'll show you now. I'll just demo it, because as well, one more thing is, when you launch the game with Cyber Engine installed, you do not want to alt-tab. If you've got a habit of multitasking while a game's loading, if you alt-tab, your game will crash. You have to let it load the Cyber Engine properly. So yeah, just to make you aware, once you're in the game and it's loaded, that initial load screen, you can see that the load screen slightly changed. There's a little loading icon in the top right. Once you're at the main menu, you can alt+tab. Just don't do it while it's loading. So I've got skip intros on, that's why the screen's black. But once you get to here, so now we're in the game menu, now I can alt+tab back to my desktop and it's not crashing. It's perfectly fine. And I've done this through multiple CyberEngine version updates, so I haven't noticed any bugs apart from that loading issue where you can't multitask at the same time. And just for reference, I've also got my game mode set on full screen. So if you are getting crashes on like windowed or borderless, try switching to full screen. And yeah, we're gonna just give it a quick test now, and I'll show you the functionality of the version 4 of this mod. So now we're in the game, and to activate the third person mode, you just press B, and as you can see, the head's there. There's no disappearing head anymore. He fixed that. If you ever get in and out of the car and the head's not there, all you have to do is cycle F1, which changes the camera perspectives, and the head should just reappear, or press B a few times and it'll reappear. So it should be using your character's custom head, like from the photo mode. That's where I'm pretty sure that's where it gets it from. So you can see this is actually the exact face that I designed, or that I custom made for this character. And if I go into my inventory, there are still some basic bugs, like for example, my face wear is not showing, and if I put a cap on, just like how the mirrors in the game, some of them are broken, it cuts your hair off. But that's actually a bug with the game itself. Like if you look in mirrors, hats will remove your hair. So I don't know, maybe they'll figure out what's causing that, or it'll just get patched in a future game update. But for the most part, just remove your headwear to get your hair back. And basically, when you select your view, like you've got the rear view, you've got first person, rear, and B will switch between the two third person and first person modes, and F1 will set your camera preference for third person. So if you prefer it like over the shoulder, on the left or on the right, or at the front, just for checking out your character, like you just want to be able to tap B every now and then, like you pick up some clothing and you equip it, and you want to be able to just see it without going into the photo mode. That's what you could use this mod for. Like, it's really handy for that. So you can actually be running and go, I wonder how it looked like when I'm running. And you can just tap B and tap back, and you're not having to go into this jarring photo mode that's like its own, it's like a separate part of the game. And it's kind of annoying. Like, if you just want to see what your character looks like, you don't want to go into the inventory screen, because it's a bit of a hassle. You can just tap B and check your character out. And basically, whichever mode you set in F1 will be saved to the B key. So when you go back to first and you go back to press B again, you'll just go back to whatever camera mode you had it in. So it saves it instead of cycling through all of them every time you press B, which is what version 3 of the mod did. So they've adjusted that to give it a bit more, customization and save your preference, basically. So if I always wanted this view, now if I can tap B, I can just switch between it. If I want the over-the-shoulder view, like this view actually works good for dialogue, because I noticed that in the directly behind view, sometimes dialogue wouldn't pop up in this view, especially if the camera is too far away. And you can use the 9 and 0 keys above your P letter, or your normal numbers next to your, not the number pad, the normal 9 and 0, like 7, 8, 9. You can use 9 and 0 to zoom in and out. And that'll also save to B. So when I press B and go back before doing it, there is still a few bugs. Like, I've actually gotten stuck in the ground from messing with it too much. Try going back. I don't know if this will fix it. Can I unstuck myself? No, I can't. So there is still a bug where if you're messing with the zoom too much, I noticed that you can actually get stuck in place. So you got to be aware, like, it's still a mod with its work in progress, and they're going to be fixing these bugs over time. But basically, if you mess with the zoom and the camera positioning too much, you can end up stuck in, like, you're like glued to the ground. And I don't know if I can even unstuck from this without reloading. Because I was zooming too much, I think. Yeah, it's not letting me out. So just be aware of that. There's still a few bugs, but if you find like a camera position you're happy with and you just stick to that and don't mess around with the 9 and 0 keys too much, you'll be fine. Because I was playing for like I uploaded a video of like a bit of isometric gameplay, and I was able to like run through the whole city, and I had no getting stuck issues till the very end. And it was also when I was playing with the zoom that I got stuck. So I think it like detaches from the character model or something, like the camera and the character model movement gets stuck somehow. But as you can see here, like if I just fix it, like for example, I'll even put like a really far zoom, but I won't move, like not moving while doing it, and then I'll try moving, and it's fine. Yeah, I'm not getting stuck anymore. So it is functional. It's perfectly functional. You can go in and out seamless. You won't get stuck from doing that. It's just more messing with the zoom and moving at the same time that seems to get it stuck. But as you can see, I'm not having any issues. And you could even play it as like a top-down RPG if you wanted. But, you know, shooting doesn't work very well this way. You'd want to, but like at the same time, like shooting doesn't work very well, but you can just tap B and go back into first person. So it really depends. Like you could actually just customize the gameplay to be how you want. You can see more of your surroundings if you're that kind of player that you feel a bit claustrophobic in first person. You can see more basically. Like you could even see higher buildings, balconies, and stuff like that that you might not normally see in first person. But at the same time, like the combat is also broken in third person mode. So like if I bring up my guns, the character model just looks completely broken. You can see his arm gets like wedged in front of him. Just like how it actually looks in first person is how the third person camera gets stuck. So if I cycle to the front view, it looks like that. That's a bit silly. But I mean, if you're playing like, for example, let's see here. If you're playing like this, stuff like smart weapons actually works really well. Like, because it's automatic targeting, so you're not going to have any problems using a smart weapon in this mode. It just looks funky and basically broken. It looks broken, and that'll destroy your immersion completely, as opposed to just using it for exploration, where it looks fine. Like, no combat, okay? So if you want just your immersion, just don't use it for combat, and you'll be okay. What's this person? What's going on here?
Out of my way!
People look scared. And yeah, let's see. Is there anything else? Not really. That was it. All I wanted to show you. So you know how to install it, and you know you can zoom in and out. It seems to work best if you don't move while zooming in and out. You won't get stuck as easily. The camera won't get stuck. Like your character won't get stuck to the ground. It's more when you're messing with it at the same time. But as you can see here, I was able to zoom out pretty far, and no issues. But one thing I'll also point out is there's a cap. Like they limited how close you can zoom, so you can't zoom into your character's like body. It stops right there. But if you zoom out, it doesn't. They didn't cap it. So the modder needs to put a cap on it, because basically I noticed what happens is if you keep zooming out, you'll get so far away that you're loading a different part of the map. And when you go back to first person, you'll actually get a load screen, which is completely, you know, not playable. And your character will tend to get stuck because of that too. But we'll see. Like, I'll see how far I can zoom out just for an experiment here. I don't care if it crashes my game. But it's more to make you aware that there's limits to what you can do with it, with the zoom function. And it might be good for screenshots, though. So, you know, you want to take a nice screenshot with your character somewhere. Like, see, I can't move left and right now. The camera's stuck on a vertical axis. Yeah, my character just got stuck at that point. Yeah, I'm trying to, like, move left and right now. I can't even move him, but the model itself is moving, but the camera and the character aren't moving. Like, the model is animating to the movement. So that looks like the limit, somewhere around here. This is like about as far out as you can go. And then if I switch back to first person, I'm sure it'll, yeah, it gives me a load screen because it's too far away. And I'm stuck because of that. So yeah, just be aware of it. There's limitations to what you can do, and the camera can be abused to the point where your game breaks. So as long as you're aware of that, you'll be fine. Like using realistic viewing distances, you'll be fine. I'll just reload a save, and I want to test that a little bit more for this video. But thanks for watching, guys, and appreciate it. Hopefully that helps you out if you wanted to try to install it and we're getting stuck. It looks like it's actually saved my camera view. Yeah, it has. Can I move with this? Oh, I can. So after reloading it, it looks like it did save and reconnect the camera. it saved the actual distance, because I wasn't at this distance on the normal save game. So whatever camera view distance you set will end up saved to the game, to the mod files. But as you can see, I'm actually able to move at this view distance. It's pretty crazy. I feel like I'm playing the original GTA that was top down, except I can't get into cars, I don't think. If you do get into cars and your camera is really far out, the camera will just get stuck. You have to press B and then go to the normal car camera. Like, go back to first person and then press Q, to change. Yeah, see, this isn't even working. And hitting F1 to change the camera mode, which puts it to like third person, will reset the camera zoom. And yeah, you can see here, this is how you'd play in third person, and you can actually initiate commands and stuff like that. Oh, that was crazy. And I'm actually getting some... Oh, this is normal 360 cam, right? I can't remember. Could we always do this on the normal vehicle cam? Or was it stuck behind? Wait. I can't remember. I can't remember if I was able... I think you could move the camera around all the time. There's nothing new here. It's just the zoom stopped working, and I can't really use those third-person modes while driving. So you can't like zoom out as far as you would on GTA, the original GTA. Just testing the handling of this vehicle, it's actually better than some of the fast cars. Can I drift? Alright. See what happens now when I get out. My head's gone. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to... Oh yeah, there, it's fixed it. Yeah, he fixed it so that it like, re-equips the head as soon as you get out of the cars. Which was a bug with version 3. But my head is back. Let's see, F1. Yeah, if I cycle back to the camera that I had zoomed far out, you can see that it's still stuck in that mode because I haven't zoomed it back in. So one of my camera cycles on F1 it basically will save. So you could save different zooming distances if you wanted to use it, and just hit the F1 key to get that isometric view, like you're playing Fallout or something. I'm trying to zoom out even further again. It's pretty cool though when you can actually see like the highways above. But yeah, obviously the game was not meant to be played like this. I'm just messing with it because it's kind of fun. Like, it's interesting. But I wouldn't go playing the story like this, because only hacking really works, and you have to go close enough to actually target the enemies. At this viewing angle, like if there's someone in front of me and I wanted to hack them, I'd have to like target them like this, and the stuff can get in the way. It's just no good. But if you're at like a more realistic camera angle, you can hack in third person, and it actually works pretty well. So see, now I can target and scan people, and it works just fine. I can get in cars. I think on the directly behind cam, which is what I was using to zoom out with, you can't do some, like, for example, you can't even punch in third person. You can't like equip your fists and punch people. It doesn't hit them properly. But I think in the rear view, which is I'm trying to zoom back in now, it's amazing you can zoom out so far. Like, it's crazy. On this rear view, certain actions weren't working in version 3. I haven't fully tested it if he fixed all of that, but I wasn't able to get in cars, and I am, so he did fix it. Cool. Kudos to the modder that fixed it all. Modder. Let's see here. I'll see if I can target enemies and... Wait, can I chat? I'll see if I can just talk to like a random dude walking. Yeah, see the camera distance stops it from working properly in that aspect. So if I go back to first, I can talk to him. Yeah, the talk option came up. So it has to be like, you can't talk to the same NPC twice close together.
Welcome, welcome.
But I'm just demonstrating the limitation. I can get in cars, but I'm not getting a chat option here. Now, if I go to the third, like the over-the-shoulder view,
Slow down.
at the right angle, I was able to initiate dialogue with. Maybe I can't. I'm not even letting me. So it depends on the use case, because I was able to do questline character dialogue in this actual camera position, and it was letting me like respond and select what I want to say. So anything else cool I can show you? The sliding's pretty cool in third person. This actually, like, you can actually see the animation for it, and it's not completely broken, unlike some of the other animations. Okay. It's not working that way. Jumping is stiff. Because they didn't animate it properly, but they didn't need to. Pretty cool though. Some stuff like seems to work okay. Like, yeah, see that animation there? Because of the way they had to make the character model's feet show in first person, when you actually vault over some stuff, it looks fine. Or it can look fine, not every single time. You saw the first one. Let's see if I try to vault over here. Oh, can we try combat? Yeah. Try combat here. So, if I use like a gun like this, my sniper rifle is like, if you know where the center of your screen is, it can work, but even that was off. Yeah, you can see where it is. It's like going off to the top right. Now, if I use a smart weapon, because it auto targets, it works just fine in third.
God damn it!
So that's fine. Pistol, let's see here. Not really. You can't. It's going to the center of my screen, basically. So that's a bit harder to use. Now, if you wanted to, like, if you're playing like a net runner, and you just unequip weapons so you look normal, it's actually more playable because it's not so immersion breaking. And you can still target. Like, I'll zoom out a bit. You can target like this and still hack. So yeah, as you can see, that works fine. So if you're playing like a godly net runner that can hack everyone and contagion them to death, then this mode's actually good for it. It's functional. But maybe you don't want to go too far out with the zoom just because objects get stuck in the way all the time. Like, this is a pretty good distance. And yeah, I'm able to loot as well. That's cool. Yeah, this is the center of the screen, eh?
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
What about hacking? No, you need to go to first. But I mean, at least it's seamless. Like, if there's anything you can't do in third, you can literally just hit B and you'll be back in first instantly, as long as you're not too far out on the third person.